Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today's Monday, November 11th, 2024, Veterans Day. We will recap yesterday's NFL Week 10 games and look ahead to tonight's game. We have college football, college basketball, NBA, NHL, soccer, NASCAR, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start with football. Some interesting results from yesterday, and we have a big Monday night game tonight, which is going to be included in the Fab Five. So, from Germany yesterday, Panthers over the Giants 20-17 in overtime. Chiefs over the Broncos 16-14, a game that Denver should have won courtesy of a blocked field goal. Steelers over the Commanders 28-27, Vikings over the Jaguars 12-7, Saints over the Falcons 2017, 49ers over the Bucks 23-20, Bills over the Colts 30-20, Patriots over the Bears 19-3, Chargers over the Titans 27-17, Eagles over the Cowboys 34-6, Cardinals over the Jets 31-6, and the Lions over the Texans 26-23. All right, tonight, Monday Night Football, 8:15 on ESPN, Dolphins-Rams from Los Angeles. It's going to be an interesting game. The Dolphins are a better team with Tua, but they still have one of the worst records in the league as they sit there at 2-6. My projections, Rams by 8, total 42.25. And it is Rams 2.5, total 48.5. So let's do some math on the podcast. A 5.5 point edge on the Rams. And I have a larger edge on the under. I have an over 6 point edge on the under. So I'm going to give out under 48.5. That's way too high. I know neither team's defense is any good. But I could see the running game for both teams being a factor. And that's why I like the under. Like 27-20, 26-20, 24-20, winner. So I'm going to go under 48.5. And that's going to be the last pick of the Fab Five for the week. And I think the Rams win the game. Because I think the Dolphins are getting too much hype because Tua's back. All right, college football. We'll go over the results from the weekend. Can't believe tomorrow starts week 12 already in college football. So Friday night, Cal over Wake 46-36, so best bet lost. UCLA over Iowa 20-17. Memphis over Rice 27-20. New Mexico over San Diego State 21-16. All right, Saturday, number 2 Ohio State over Purdue 45-0. Georgia Tech upsets number 4 Miami 28-23. Number 5 Texas over Florida 49-17. Rutgers over Minnesota 26-19. BC over Syracuse 37-31. West Virginia over Cincinnati 31-24. Texas State over UL Monroe 38-17. Navy over South Florida 28-7. Liberty over Middle Tennessee 37-17. UConn over UAB 31-23. Marshall over Southern Miss 37-3. Number 16 Ole Miss over number 3 Georgia 28-10. Number 8 Indiana over Michigan 20-15. Kansas over number 17 Iowa State 45-36. Number 25 Army over North Texas 14-3. Duke over NC State 29-19. San Jose State over Oregon State 24-13. James Madison over Georgia State 38-7. Number 23 Clemson over Virginia Tech 24-14. Number 20 Colorado over Texas Tech 41-27. UTEP over Kennesaw State 43-35 in double overtime. Tulane over Temple 52-6. South Carolina over Vandy 28-7. Jacksonville State over Louisiana Tech 44-37 in overtime. Louisiana over Arkansas State 55-19. Western Kentucky over New Mexico State 41-28. Number 1 Oregon over Maryland 39-18. Number 7 Tennessee over Mississippi State 33-14. Arizona State over UCF 35-31. TCU over Oklahoma State 38-13. Number 10 Notre Dame over Florida State 52-3. Number 11 Alabama over number 15 LSU 42-13. Number 24 Missouri over Oklahoma 30-23. Number 6 Penn State over Washington 35-6. Number 12 Boise State over Nevada 28-21. Virginia over number 18 Pitt 24-19. UNLV over Hawaii 29-27. Air Force over Fresno State 36-28. Number 9 BYU over Utah 22-21. And number 21 Washington State over Utah State 49-28. So there you have it for college football. Now move on to college basketball. We'll go over notable results from the weekend. anything involving ranked teams or Super or Power 5 or any notable like mid or high majors. All right, Friday, Stanford over Fullerton 80-53. Number 7 Duke over Army 100-58. Temple over Monmouth 103-74. Xavier over IU Indy 94-80. Penn State over UMBC 103-54. VC over BC 80-55. Austin P over Butler 68-66. Number 1 Kansas over number 9 North Carolina 92-89. So UNC covered. Number 14 Purdue over Northern Kentucky 72-50. Number 20 Cincinnati over Morehead State 83-56. Number 24 Ole Miss over Grambling 66-64. Charleston over South Florida 86-71. Florida Atlantic over Coastal Georgia 99-49. NC State over Presbyterian 81-72. Rhode Island over Holy Cross 91-77. George Washington over Hampton 82-54. Pitt over Murray State 83-68. UCF over Purdue Fort Wayne 75-68. South Carolina over SC State 86-64. West Virginia over UMass 75-69. Virginia Tech over SC Upstate 93-74. Clemson over St. Fran, PA, 88-62. Central Connecticut upset St. Joe's, 73-67. Tulane over Yale Monroe, 80-64. Mississippi State over Georgia State, 101-66. Number 2, Alabama over Arkansas State, 88-79. Number 13, Texas A&M over East Texas A&M, 87-55. So A&M Commerce turned into that. Number 19, Texas over Houston Christian, 90-59. Arizona State over Santa Clara, 81-74. Missouri over Howard, 77-62. Maryland over Mount St. Mary's, 86-52. Illinois over SIU Edwardsville, 90-58. TCU over Florida Gulf Coast, 67-51. Princeton over Duquesne, 75-68. Villanova over NJIT, 91-54. Navy beats Harvard, 85-80. Number 18, Marquette over George Mason, 82-63. Texas Tech over Northwestern State, 86-65. Colorado over Northern Colorado, 90-88 in double overtime. BYU over UC Riverside, 86-80. Colorado State over Tennessee State, 87-79 in overtime. Pacific over San Jose State, 80-67. San Diego over BU, 74-60. UC Irvine over Loyola Marymount, 66-51. Fresno over Sacramento State, 67-57. Or 64-57. Oregon over Montana, 79-48. Oregon State over Weber State, 76-48. New Mexico over number 22 UCLA, 72-64. Wazoo over Bradley, 91-74. And Hawaii over Life Pacific, 96-61. Saturday, number 12 Tennessee over Louisville, 77-55. Fordham over Seton Hall, 57-56. Wright State over Miami of Ohio, 81-68. Toledo over Marshall, 90-80. St. John's over Quinnipiac, 96-73. Tulsa over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 103-80. Minnesota over Omaha, 68-64. LaSalle over Lafayette, 81-60. Number 10, Arizona over Old Dominion, 102-44. Number 23, Kentucky over Bucknell, 100-72. Utah Valley over UTEP, 89-60. East Carolina over Coastal Carolina, 63-59. Utah State over Charlotte, 103-74. Georgetown over Fairfield, 69-57. Kansas State over Cleveland State, 77-64. St. Bonaventure over Canisius, 87-78. Louisiana Tech over Texas Arlington, 92-77. Santa Barbara over Portland, 94-53. Memphis over UNLV, 80-74. Marist over Richmond, 79-72. Providence over Stonehill, 76-49. Middle Tennessee over Abilene Christian, 79-56. Wichita State over Montana State, 89-69. Ohio over Asheville, 82-76. Florida State over Rice, 73-65. North Dakota UTSA postponed. Number 8 Baylor over number 16 Arkansas, 72-67. Dayton over Northwestern, 71-66. Number 3 UConn over New Hampshire, 92-53. Grand Canyon over Western Kentucky, 74-72. Nebraska over Bethune, 68-53. Number 11 Auburn over number 4 Houston, 74-69. Nevada over Washington, 63-53. And San Francisco over Boise State, 84-73. All right, Sunday. Number 17 Indiana over Eastern Illinois, 90-55. Wisconsin over App State, 87-56. Vandy over Southeast Missouri, 85-76. North Florida over Georgia Tech, 105-93. Wake over Michigan, 72-70. Drake over Stephen F. Austin, 66-51. Princeton over Northeastern, 79-76. Loyola Chicago over Eureka, 105-53. UC Irvine over Northern Iowa, 80-60. Miami over Binghamton, 88-64. Oklahoma State over St. Thomas, 80-71. Georgia over Texas Southern, 92-64. Wyoming over Tennessee State, 81-66. St. Louis over Avila, 95-44. Number 6, Gonzaga over Arizona State, 88-80. Number 15, Creighton over Fairleigh Dickinson, 96-70. LSU over Alabama State, 74-61. Pacific over Life Pacific, 94-41. And San Jose State loses to Hawaii, 80-69. All right. Now we're going to look ahead to tonight's slate. We're going to skip the non-Division 1 game. So 4 o'clock, LIU Air Force. I have Air Force by 18. And it is 12.5 and 142.5 LA with Air Force. 6 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Youngstown State, Ohio State. My line's Ohio State by whopping 34, and it's 19.5, 147.5. Lay it. SoCon ASUN, Citadel, Stetson from Citadel. My line's the Citadel by 12. And Stetson 1.5, totals 146.5. I'll take the Citadel plus the points and minus 106 outright, so there's an underdog for you. 7 o'clock, SEC Network, McNeese at number 2, Alabama. Mine's Alabama by 35. And it is 18.5, 166.5. I love it, Alabama minus the points. I like this McNeese team, but not tonight. Grambling, Florida. Number 21, Florida. My line's Florida by a whopping 36, and it is Florida by 23.5, totals 150.5 LA. The points. St. Peter's at number 25, Rutgers. I have Rutgers by 33, and it's 16.5, totals 130.5 LA. The points. Southern Indiana, Marshall. I have Marshall 17.5. And it is 9.5, 151.5 LA. The points. Stony Brook, George Mason. My line is George Mason by 29. And it is 14.5 and 142.5 LA. The points. Gardner Webb, Pitt. Mine's Pitt by 39. And it is 19.5 and 150.5 LA. The points. Buffalo, Notre Dame. My line's Notre Dame by a whopping 46.5. And it's 22.5, 147.5 LA. The points. Eastern Washington, Missouri. I have Missouri by 31. And it's 19.5, 155.5 LA. It. Western Michigan, Butler. Fox Sports 1. Mine's Butler by 36. And Butler is favored by 16.5, totals 149.5. Lay the points. Tennessee, Martin, North Alabama. My line's North Alabama by 21. And it's 9.5, 151.5. I'll lay the points. Jacksonville, Furman. Mine's Furman by 14. And it is 7.5, 142.5. I'll lay it. Florida A&M, Maryland. My line is Maryland by a whopping 59. And Maryland is giving 33.5, 141.5 the total. I'll lay it. Winthrop, Virginia Tech. My line is Vatech by 6. And it's 8.5 and 153.5. This is the rare time I'm going to take a dog. I'm going to take Winthrop getting the points. Coppin State, Virginia. My line's Virginia by 46. And it's 27.5, line 23.5. I'll lay the points. 7:30, Alcorn State, Tulane. Mine's Tulane 23.5. And it is 20.5 and 155.5. I'll lay it with Tulane, but this is actually the closest line so far other than the Winthrop, Virginia Tech line. 8 o'clock, Kansas City, number 5, Iowa State. Mine's Iowa State 30.5. It's 27.5, 140.5. Another close line. I'll lay the points. Lamar at number 13, Texas A&M. I have A&M by also 30.5. It's 25.5, 144.5. I'm laying the points there too. Big Ten Network, Yale at number 14, Purdue. I have Purdue 35.5. And it's 14.5, 145.5. I'll lay the points. Next is Northwestern State, Oklahoma. My line is Oklahoma 21.5, and it's 25.5, 147.5. Ooh, I actually could take a dog here. Northwestern State getting points. Chattanooga, Austin P. My line's Austin P by 4. And it's Chattanooga 3.5. Total's 151.5. I'm going to take Austin P plus the points and plus 140 outright. UT Greensboro, SMU. I have SMU by 19. And it is 13.5 and 147.5. I'll lay the points. Central Michigan, Marquette on Fox Sports 1 at 9 o'clock. Number 18, Marquette. I have Marquette by 33. And it's 26.5, 148.5. I'll lay the points. Fox Sports 2, Mercer, DePaul. My line is DePaul by 23.5. And DePaul is giving only 8.5. Total of 159.5. I'll lay with DePaul. Next, we have 9:30 North Dakota State and Bakersfield. I have North Dakota State 4.5, and it's Bakersfield by 2.5. Totals 141.5. I'll take North Dakota State plus the 2.5 and plus 122 outright. Idaho Wazoo. My line's Wazoo 32.5, and it's 15.5, 158.5. I'll lay the points. 10 o'clock, Big Ten Network, Boston University, number 22 UCLA. I have UCLA by a whopping 40.5, and it's 26.5, 133.5. I'll lay the points. And last but not least, midnight Eastern, Pacific Hawaii, Rainbow Classic. Mine's Pacific 14. And it's Hawaii by 3.5, totals 141.5. I'm going to take Pacific, getting the 3 and a hook, and plus 136 outright. Okay, now move on to the NBA. We will go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's games. Friday, Hornets over the Pacers 103-83. Pistons over the Hawks 122-121. Magic over the Pelicans 115-88. Knicks over the Bucks 116-94. Celtics over the Nets 108-104 in overtime. Cavs over the Warriors 136-117. Suns over the Mavericks 114-113. Grizzlies over the Wizards 128-104. Thunder over the Rockets 126-107. T-Wolves over the Blazers 127-102. Nuggets over the Heat 135-122. Lakers over the Sixers 116-106. And the Clippers over the Kings 107-98. Saturday, Jazz over the Spurs 111-110. Bulls over the Hawks 125-113. Cavs over the Nets 105-100. Clippers over the Raptors 105-103. And then yesterday, Rockets over the Pistons 101-99. Pacers over the Knicks 132-121. Celtics over the Bucks 113-107. Magic over the Wiz 121-94. Sixers over the Hornets 107-105 in OT. Heat over the T-Wolves 95-94. Warriors over the Thunder 127-116. Nuggets over the Mavericks 122-120. Kings over the Suns 127-118 in overtime. Grizzlies over the Blazers 134-89. And the Lakers over the Raptors 123-103. All right, 5 games tonight, 8 o'clock. Cavs Bulls. Mine is the Cavs by 4.25. And Cleveland is giving 8, totals 237. I'm going to take the Bulls getting the points at home. Wizards Rockets. My line is the Rockets by 11.75. And it's 13.5 after 227. I'm going to take the under. Nets Pelicans. I have Brooklyn 4.25. And it's Brooklyn by 1, totals to 11.5. I'll lay the 1 with Brooklyn. NBA TV, Clippers Thunder. I have Thunder 9.25. And it's 7 and 218.5. I hate the pick, but I'm going to lay it with the Thunder. Because that's a little high without Chet, but at the same time, the Clips don't have Kawhi. And Kings Spurs, I have Kings 4.5, and it's 2 and 222. I'm going to lay the 2 with Sacramento. Now move on to hockey. We'll go over the results from the weekend, and we'll look ahead to tonight's games. Friday, Leafs over the Red Wings 3-1. Pens over the Caps 4-2. Wild over the Ducks 5-2. Kraken over the Golden Knights 4-3 OT. Saturday, Sabres over the Flames 3-2 shootout. Jets over the Stars 4-1. Panthers over the Flyers 4-3 shootout. Sens over the Bruins 3-2 overtime. Leafs over the Habs 4-1. Rangers over the Red Wings 4-0. Caps over the Blues 8-1. Devils over the Islanders 4-3 in overtime. Preds over the Utah 4-0. Abs over the Canes 6-4. Kings over the Jackets 5-2. Oilers over the Canucks 7-3. And then yesterday, Sharks over the Devils 1-0. Blackhawks over the Wild 2-1 in overtime. Ducks over the Blue Jackets 4-2. All right, today's game is 12:30. Habs Sabres. So a rare matinee game for Veterans Day. Buffalo's minus 210. Habs plus 172. Over under 6.5. Minus 210 each way. Habs plus 1.5 is minus 144. Sabres minus 1.5 plus 118. I am going to go with the over. I don't feel good about it. 7 o'clock. Sharks Flyers. Flyers minus 255. Sharks plus 205. Over under 6.5. Overs plus 108. Unders minus 132. Sharks plus 1.5 is minus 132. Flyers minus 1.5 is even money. I'm going to throw a curveball. I'm going to take the Sharks outright at plus 205. I don't think I've taken a dog at over 2-1 all year in hockey. But I'm doing it here. Stars Penguins. Stars minus 60. Pens plus 132. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 06. Unders minus 114. Stars minus 1.5 plus 148. Pens plus 1.5 is minus 184. I'm going to go with the under, but I don't feel good about it. 8:30 Kings Flames. Kings minus 134. Flames plus 112. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 132. Unders plus 108. Kings minus 1.5 plus 184. Flames plus 1.5 is minus 230. I'm going to go with Calgary outright plus 112. 9 o'clock Preds Avs. Avs minus 154. Preds plus 128. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 118. Unders minus 104. Preds plus 1.5 is minus 192. Avs minus 1.5 plus 154. The Avs have been an over team all year. I'm going to go with the over. And then, last but not least, Canes Golden Knights. Canes minus 140. Vegas plus 116. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 08. Unders minus 112. Canes minus 1.5 plus 172. Vegas plus 1.5 is minus 215. I'm going to go with Vegas as a home dog at plus 116. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from yesterday and the rest of the weekend, and we'll look ahead to today. Premier League Saturday, Brentford over Bournemouth 3-2, Fulham over Crystal Palace 2-0, West Ham Everton 0-0 draw, Wolves over Southampton 2-0, Brighton over Man City 2-1, Liverpool over Aston Villa 2-0. And then yesterday, Man United over Leicester 3-0, Newcastle over Nottingham Forest 3-1, Ipswich over Tottenham 2-1, Chelsea Arsenal 1-1 draw. MLS playoffs. Friday. LAFC over Vancouver 1-0. They win the series 2-0. Salt Lake, Minnesota was canceled. Saturday, Galaxy Colorado canceled. NYCFC Cincinnati 0-0 draw, but NYCFC wins the series 2-1 on penalties. Charlotte Orlando 0-0 draw. Orlando wins in penalties. They win the series 2-1. Atlanta over Miami 3-2, so Messi season's over. And then yesterday, we had 2 games that were both canceled. Columbus and the Red Bulls and Seattle Houston. So they were canceled because those teams had won those series already. That's what would have been. Women's League Friday. Orlando over Chicago 4-1. Saturday, KC over North Carolina 1-0. Sunday, Washington over Bay of City 2-1 in an additional extra time. And Gotham over Portland 2-1. Liga MX. Friday, Querétaro over Santos 3-2. Unam over Mazatlan 1-0. Saturday, Athletic St. Louis over Guadalajara 1-0. Juarez over Pachuca 1-0. Toluca over America 4-0. Cruz Azul Tigres 1-1 draw. And then yesterday, Necaxa Outlaws 0-0 draw. Montero over Leon 2-1. Tijuana over Puebla 2-1. Bundesliga. Friday, Freiburg Union Berlin 0-0 draw. Saturday, Mainz wins 3-1. Bayern over St. Pauli 1-0. Bochum Leverkusen 1-1 draw. Bremen over Holstein Kiel 2-0. RP Leipzig Gladbach 0-0 draw. And then yesterday, Augsburg Hoffenheim 0-0 draw. Frankfurt over Stuttgart 3-2. And Wolfsburg over Heidenheim 3-1. La Liga, Friday, Las Palmas over Real 3-1. Saturday, Real Madrid over Osasuna 4-0. Villarreal over Alaves 3-0. Espanyol Valencia 0-0. Actually, no, it was postponed, my bad. And Leganes over Sevilla 1-0. And then yesterday, Betis Celta Vigo 2-2 draw. Athletic over Mallorca 1-0. Girona over Getafe 1-0. Valladolid Athletic 1-1 draw. And Real Sociedad over Barcelona 1-0. And then Serie A. Friday, Lecce, Empoli, 1-1 draw. Saturday, Parma over Venezia, 2-1. Cagliari, Milan, 3-3 draw. And Juventus over 3-0, 2-0. And then yesterday, Atalanta over Udinese, 2-1. Bologna over AS Roma, 3-2. Fiorentina over Verona, 3-1. Lazio over Monza, 1-0. And Inter Milan, Napoli, 1-1 draw. French League 1, Friday, Auxerre over Marseille, 3-1. Saturday, Monaco over Strasbourg, 3-1. Lens over Nantes, 3-2. PSG over Angers, 4-2. And then yesterday, Nice-Lille, 2-2 draw. Reims over Le Havre, AC, 3-1. Montpellier over Brest, 3-1. Toulouse over Rennes, 2-0. Lyon over Saint Etienne, 1-0. USL playoffs. Saturday, Rhode Island over Louisville, 3-0. Vegas over New Mexico, 1-0. And then yesterday, Charleston over Tampa, 2-1. And Colorado over Orange County, 2-1. In additional extra time. ELC, Friday. Watford over Oxford United, 1-0. Saturday, Blackburn over Cardiff, 3-1. Borough over Luton, 5-1. Stoke Millwall, 1-1 draw. Derby Plymouth, 1-1 draw. Leeds over QPR, 2-0. Bristol City over Norwich City, 2-0. Portsmouth over Preston, 3-1. And Sunderland Coventry, 2-2 draw. And then yesterday, Sheffield United over Sheffield Wednesday, 1-0. West Brom over Hull, 2-1. Burnley over Swansea, 1-0. Dutch Eredivisie, Friday. FC Utrecht over Heracles, 1-0. Saturday, FC Groningen over Sparta, 1-0. PC Zwolle over Fortuna, 3-1. PSV over NEC Breda, 3-0. NEC over RKC Waldrick, 3-0. And then yesterday, Feyenoord over Mary City, 4-1. FC 20 Ajax, 2-2 draw. Heerenveen over Go Ahead Eagles, 1-0. And Willem over AC Alkmaar, 2-1. Scottish Premiership. Saturday, Dundee United over Ross County, 3-0. St. Mirren over Hibernian, 2-1. Motherwell over St. Johnstone, 2-1. Aberdeen over Dundee, 4-1. And then yesterday, Celtic over Kilmarnock, 2-0. And Rangers over Hearts, 1-0. And then we had the Pro League. Friday, Halal over Eddie Fox, 3-1. Ali over Raid, 2-0. Nass over Raida, 1-0. And then yesterday, Collegiate over Feta, 2-1. Damak over Wada, 3-2. And Tulun over Octode, 1-0. So, I don't think there's any notable soccer today. Let me just double check. Because I believe this week, so nothing of note today. We have EFL all day tomorrow in the Scottish League Cup and UEFA Women's, and then Wednesday, UEFA Women's friendlies, OFC, Cup of Nations qualifying. So we have a lot of international stuff this week. So that's why we don't have any of the regular leagues this week, other than MLS and stuff. All right, now move on to NASCAR. We will go over the results from championship weekend. We'll start with the Truck Series. Your winner, Ty Majeski. Second, Corey Heim. Third, Christian X. Fourth, Nick Sanchez. Fifth, Grant Effinger. Sixth, Taylor Gray. Seventh, Caden Honeycutt. Eighth, Connor Mozak. Ninth, Ben Rhodes. 10th, Lane Riggs. The rest, Tanner Gray, Chase Berry, Roger Caruth, Jake Garcia, Dean Thompson, Brett Moffitt, Connor Jones, Stuart Friesman, Matt Crafton, Dawson Sutton, Bailey Curry, Timmy Hill, Stephon Parsons, Daniel Dye, Matt Mills, Nathan Bird, Troy Moffitt, Spencer Boyd, Keith McGate, Lawless Allen, Andres Perez de Lara, William Sawalich, Tanner Ankrum, Frankie Muniz, and Jack Wood. And then your top four, Ty Majeski, Corey Heim, Christian X, Grant Effinger. That's how that played out. And then Xfinity Championship, your race winner, Riley Herbst coming in second, Justin Algier. Third, Eric Almirola. Fourth, Connor Zilch. Fifth, Chandler Smith. Sixth, Jesse Love. 7th, Sheldon Creed. 8th, Cole Custer. 9th, A.J. Allmendinger. 10th, Austin Hill. The rest: Sam Myers, Shane Van Gisbergen, William Sawalich, Parker Kligerman, Sammy Smith, Jeb Burton, Daniel Dye, Brandon Jones, Dylan Lupton, Jeremy Clements, Josh Belicki, Blaine Perkins, Ryan Sieg, Brendan Poole, Ryan Ellis, Matthew Bendetto, Joey Gase, Parker Emeling, Kyle Sieg, Garrett Smithley, Leyland Honeyman, Dawson Cram, Josh Williams, Parker Retzlaff, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Anthony Alfredo, Greg Van Alst, and Stephon Parsons. And then your top 4: Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer, A.J. Allmendinger, Austin Hill. And then the Cup Series Championship, your winner of the race, Joey Logano. 2nd, Ryan Blaney. 3rd, William Byron. 4th, Kyle Larson. 5th, Chris Bell. 6th, Tyler Reddick. 7th, Bubba Wallace. 8th, Chase Elliott. 9th, Chris Buescher. 10th, Daniel Suarez. The rest: Denny Hamlin, Noah Gragson, Austin Cindric, Alex Bowman, Brad Keselowski, Harrison Burton, Martin Truex Jr., Carson Hocevar, Ross Chastain, Todd Gilliland, Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Daniel Hemrick, Josh Berry, Dawson Krause, Jimmy Johnson, Austin Dillon, Justin Haley, Chase Briscoe, John Hunter Nemechek, Michael McDowell, Corey LaJoie, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kaz Grella, J.J. Yeley, Chad Fincham, Ryan Preece, Jeb Burton, Zane Smith, and Ty Gibbs. And then your top 4 in the Cup Series: Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Tyler Reddick for the points. So, fun ride in NASCAR this season. So we won't see NASCAR again till February. All right, now we'll move on to the news and notes for today. We have a lot to get to. Jerry Jones made a comment about Dak Prescott. He said he was concerned about the Cowboys with or without Dak. I mean, his point is that the Cowboys weren't even good with Dak this year. Now they're even worse without Dak. Trying to evaluate quarterback options after Daboll did not commit to sticking with Daniel Jones. That's really interesting. That's probably the right move to play Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock. So Jerry Jones will not fire Mike McCarthy as he's not interested in finding new head coach amid Cowboys 3-6 record. He'll probably do it after the season. The Saints are not planning a rebuild. His team is not planning for an overhaul despite firing Dennis Allen and high salary cap changes. Well, they're wrong. They should blow it up and rebuild. Like, they're a team that's living in the freaking past. Derek Carr's their quarterback. Just blow the freaking thing up. Roger Goodell says the league is eyeing 8 games aboard. Spain, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, England, and Ireland are possible for 2025. That's crazy. Dak Prescott apparently didn't want surgery, as he determined to exhaust all options before giving up on returning this season, but he's out for a year. The Pats claim Yannick Ngakoue for waivers. The Texans had a players-only meeting. C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson let a 2-hour talk after the loss of the Jets. And boy, last night was one of the worst losses you'll see all season. And then Goodell sees the Berlin game after the rumors of another Germany game in 25. Jaylen Brown says that Giannis is a child, as he gave a thought about Giannis's toll about playground jokes. And Giannis ripped his team's effort in a blowout loss against the Knicks. But yeah, Dak's to miss the rest of the season with the season-ending surgery with the hamstring. That's just brutal. The Cowboys are headed for 5-12. Maybe they'll win one against the Giants and they'll win one more against a bad team. Mike Norvell fires his offensive and defensive coordinators at mid-1-9 season. Well, Do you know who should be fired? Mike Norvell, because he's been a bad coach this year. And the only reason why he still has a job is because they went undefeated last year and Jordan Travis got hurt. And they're like, oh, if Jordan Travis didn't get hurt, we make the playoff. Yeah, you probably do. You were probably overrated a little bit anyway. And this year's falling apart has kind of proven that. So it's just so much karma in a way, too, for Florida State, because they complained about not making the playoff with a third-string quarterback, and now you go 1-9. You weren't even that good to begin with. There was a tribute on College Game Day for Ben Herbstreit, Kirk Herbstreit's dog, that passed away last week, which was very, very touching. Kirk got emotional. Utah's athletic director got fined $40,000 after comments about officials in conference after loss against BYU. And then teams are eyeing the Nets trio of Dennis Schroeder, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Bojan Bogdanovic, who are all going to be available for trades. A Bucks trade is up to Giannis, says he'll only be available if he pushes for it. Cam Reddish started over D'Angelo Russell against the Sixers the other day. And then Ben Simmons got benched against the Celtics. A scout called out Victor Wembanyama, as he says Victor hasn't been impactful on offense so far this season. Like, what? I guess you haven't watched the Spurs. Michigan is all in on top quarterback Bryce Underwood as they're getting him to flip from LSU. Everyone's going to be all over him. The WNBA is looking at the NBA for head coaches, as Jake Fisher talked about why the NBA assistants could land roles in the WNBA, which is interesting. Austin Matthews placed on IR, retroactive to November 3rd. That's not great for the Maple Leafs. Skeens and Livy were on game day in their game against Alabama. For LSU. So Hal Steinbrenner visited Juan Soto amid Mets owner Steve Cohen's visit in California. Roki Sasaki is going to be posted. I know all signs are pointing him to go to the Dodgers, which would be insane. The Yankees are among teams interested, but I guess they have a couple pitching free agents, so that's where they would fit him in. Can't think of... I think... Is Cortez a free agent? Somebody's a free agent in their rotation. Can't think of who it is. Stroman? So Nico Collins came back last night against the Texans. That made the offense for them look a little better. Marshawn Lattimore missed the game on Sunday against the Steelers. Chris Olave placed on IR with the concussion. Will Levis came back against the Chargers. Tyreek was questionable against the Rams with a wrist injury. Mike Evans return date week 12 against the Giants, it looks like. Christian McCaffrey came back for the Niners. Micah Parsons came back for Dallas. Trevor Lawrence may need surgery as he's battling a significant AC joint sprain. Mac Jones will be QB1. That game was close, but that was because Sam Darnold was so bad. He looked like Jets-Panthers Sam Darnold. Tristan Wirfs ruled out against the 49ers with a knee injury. Aaron Jones got carted to the locker room against the Jaguars. The Marlins hire a new manager, Dodgers first base coach Clayton McCullough. We'll see how that works out. The Yankees are eyeing Carlos Estevez in free agency. That'd be a nice pickup for them. LeMay out 2 to 3 weeks after an ankle sprain. So that's a big loss for Barcelona and Spain. And Lewandowski's out for 10 days too for Barcelona. And then Vasquez of Madrid, Rodrigo Vasquez, 4 to 6 weeks. That's another bad injury in La Liga. Chet Holmgren's out 8 to 10 weeks with a hip fracture. That's absolutely brutal for the Thunder. That might cost them the 1 seed in the West. Jimmy Butler was out against the T-Wolves with the ankle injury. Zion's out indefinitely with the hamstring injury. The Pelicans are probably the year from hell team. They might be the Memphis of, they might be last year's Memphis. John Morant week to week with grade 1 pelvic muscle strain. Not ideal. Kevin Durant has a calf strain. Him is at least 2 weeks. There was a plane diverted after a college basketball flight as Auburn's flight to Houston turned around due to horseplay that could have escalated. And then freshman Ja'Kai Howard and senior Jaheim Hudson did not travel with team after altercation, which is crazy. The Bengals are hosting Xavier Howard, which would be a good pickup for them. So there you have it for the news and notes. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple options sitting there for me where I could go. I'm not going to put all my eggs in the Dolphins-Rams basket. So I'm going to go to hockey, and I'm going to go over in the Avs-Preds game. The Avs have been an over team all year. So I like over 6.5 and -118 between the Avs and the Predators as my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. You'll get everything tomorrow as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.